Welcome again to another edition of First Person, brought to you by the Ruin Camp Farm Drainage Company here in Fort Loramie, right across the road, in fact, from where we are today on Dawson Road. Call them for residential, farm, and commercial needs. They'll make water work for you. They got 80 years of experience, and if you have a wet field or a wet yard, trust me, they've helped me, they can help you. They'll make water work for you. Call Phil Barhorst again at Ruin Camp's Farm Drainage. As I mentioned, we're in Fort Loramie today, the site of the newly crowned Division IV state champions in girls basketball. It happened last weekend with an impressive win over Berlin Highland. Carla Siegel is our guest this week, the coach of the girls. And you know what? I just thought about this coming in this afternoon. It was 2 years ago, almost to the day, when we last did this. After your loss in the finals there to Harvest Prep a couple of years, and I remember you saying nothing comes easy in this business. You know, we're going to come back, we're going to keep fighting, we're going to keep playing, we're going to get there. And Saturday afternoon, you got there. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Sonny. It definitely was a hard-fought year. You know, we had to go to the state tournament and beat the #1 team in the state, and then turn around and beat the #2 team in the state. So I'm very proud of my team, and the community support was fantastic as well.
The thing that kept going through my mind was what you've told me so many times. So you've had so many disappointments in Columbus. Just about everything imaginable that could happen to you has happened to you. And you always smile, just like you are now, and say, you know, as if to say the game is bigger than the disappointments that come with it. We're going to come back and play. And I think that's the greatest attribute that you could have as a program, as a coach, as a player. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. And honestly, you know, when the Ottoville game started and we went 7.5 minutes without scoring a single basket, the thought that went through my head is, why is this going to happen again? You know, why do we get here on this biggest stage and we get the chance to show the state of Ohio what Fort Loramie basketball is about, and you know, we stub our toe. And I can't say enough about Reggie going in there as our injured senior, our injured leader of the year, and she goes in and she makes that bucket so we don't finish the quarter with a big goose egg. And so I think once she did that, it kind of let the team know, hey, here we go, let's get going. And I think they rallied around her, and we went on and played a better game after this first 7.5 minutes.
Another thought that went through my mind over the weekend was between you and your coach, Jane Poppleman.
Correct.
Who preceded you here. Between the two, I don't know how many combined wins you have, but it's got to be close to 700 between the two of you. You've been playing basketball here a long time, and you know, put it into perspective. If you've got close to 700 wins between you, and you average 15 to 17 wins a year, that's about, you know, 50 years of 15-win basketball before you finally break through and win a state title. That takes a lot of something, character, patience,
right.
Determination, commitment to it. That's a remarkable figure.
Well, it's one of the reasons why I talked about her extensively in the press conference and even in our celebration room at the Shot. Jane did so much for our program to get it going, and she never got the state title, but she brought 2 teams there. They were so close. I remember playing for her. We were so close, and it was a long time coming. And this victory is like I said, it's for everybody. It's for Jane. It's for Dave McFeely. It's for Don Goldschmidt. It's everybody that has coached Sue Kaufman, and it's all the players. It's a long time coming, and it's very satisfying.
Saturday marked one of those days where the emotions that had to be just wrenching. You know, you get out, you got the lead. You're playing pretty well. You're playing against a team that you know at any moment is going to hit their stride and play better. Dave Schlaball gave you tremendous credit for the defense that you played and to keep them out of the things that they do well. But tell us what that was a little bit like. It's just like looking over your shoulder. When's it going to happen, and when are they going to come after us at any moment?
Well, we know number 10 on their team could shoot deep threes, and she showed that 3 times. We saw it in game film, and we just told the girls they had to stay on her. We had a hard time staying on her. She's a phenomenal athlete. And we would get that 7, 8 point lead, and then it would go down to 3 again. And we'd get a 7, 8 point lead, and it would go down to 3 again. I just kept telling the girls it's not over with until it's over with. And even at the 38-second mark, I think we're at by 15 at the time, it still, to me, didn't feel like it was over with. And I had to verify with my coaches if it was okay to finally sub. And they all looked at me and said, yes, Carla, it's okay for you to sub right now. And I guess that's when I really knew that the elusive state title that we wanted for so long here finally was ours.
Sub and smile.
And smile, that's right.
And smile. Carla Siegel is our guest on First Person this week. Her girls, the Fort Loramie Redskins, won their first Division IV title over the weekend, and we talked about the fact that titles don't come easy. And as you know, we live in a culture today where people want titles to come easier, to the point where there's going to be a vote here in a few weeks to separate the parochial and the public schools. For those people who say there ought to be a title for public schools, there ought to be a title for the parochials. They have some unfair advantages. We don't like competing against those advantages, but yet from an athlete's standpoint, even though I'm an old one or an ex-one, and from your standpoint, I know that you would not have wanted that title Saturday except that it come against the very best competition. And it did. I mean, Berlin Highlands won 3 state titles or 4 state titles previously.
Correct. I agree. I mean, to be the best, you have to play the best. And separating the two different schools is not the right way to go. I agree. I do believe that the OHSAA has to monitor better situations that have happened in the past with the private schools and charter schools. But it's the state of Ohio. If you want to be a state champion, you have to be the best in your division, hands down. And
I know that Bill Sturwald, who has beaten one of the best private schools in the country for his two in the state, that being Newark Catholic, big baseball power. They won 6, 7, 8 times the high school baseball title. He beat them in 7, beat them in 10, and I know from conversations with Bill that meant all the more to his kids to say we beat the ultimate team in the state of Ohio to be champions ourselves. That means a lot to you. It means a lot to your kids.
It does. Here in Fort Loramie, these kids that play for me grew up here, and this town, I think that's why when you go to a state tournament and you see a Fort Loramie playing, you've got 2,000 people in the stands cheering you on versus some of the schools that are only bringing 100 or 200. The community involvement is so great when you're bringing your kids from your community that everybody is associated with. It's a great feeling.
And even more impressively, I looked up there the other day, you had far more than 2,000 people cheering you on. You had a lot of people here from the Shelby County League, from all over your conference, from Houston, Anna people here. You had a lot of people here. And by the way, I know you joined me, you said this the other day, congratulations to Jack and what his girls at Anna did. That speaks very well of your conference.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 3 years, Shelby County has 3 state titles. We have 2 runner-up titles. Yeah, Jack has done an amazing job. The Anna Rockets have done a great job. And like you said, the support from everybody. I've gotten emails from teams that I've beat in the sectionals wishing us nothing but the best. And that's just so heartwarming to beat somebody and then they send you an email saying we want you to win the state title. Our team is behind you, our program is behind you. It's a wonderful feeling.
More than a handshake after the game. Would you not agree with me? That signifies really good sportsmanship.
100%.
Legitimately good sportsmanship.
Yes.
I want to ask you this, Carla, before we finish. You've had great success here, as we talked about. You've had great consistency over the years. I know you got a great JV program. You only lose 3 seniors.
Correct.
You're a young program. You got a great JV program coming on. As we talked earlier in the year, I know you got 6th and 7th and 8th grade girls that are talented. They're coming on. But tell me what winning this title, finally being a state championship, is going to mean to your program going forward.
Well, I think that the monkey is off the back. The hesitation, people saying, why can't we win one? What is the problem? And I think it's opened up the floodgates, hopefully. I know people are talking in town about multiple state champions. Well, exactly. We're going to enjoy this one. It took us 42 years to get it.
42 years.
We're going to enjoy it. And when I meet with the girls in June and we start our summer, we will address our goals for next year at that time. But it's one at a time. They don't come easy.
Between now and June, what's your next 2 months going to be like, personally?
Personally, I'm going to sit back and take it easy. I'm going to reevaluate some of the things that we've done, some things that we need to do to get better. And I'm really going to enjoy and cherish what we accomplished this year.
As you should.
Thank you.
As you should.
Thank you.
They say good things come to good people, and those who wait, and no one has waited more, as you just heard, 42 years to win one here at Fort Loramie, as the Redskins did on Saturday, and certainly none better and none classier than Carla Siegel.
Thank you, Sonny, for everything.
You're the best. You're the best. That wraps up this edition of First Person, again brought to you by the Ruin Camp Farm Drainage Company here in Fort Loramie. 80 years of experience with farm, commercial, and residential service to the Shelby County community. Call them if you got wet fields or wet yards. They can make water work for you. For our sponsors and Coach Siegel, thanks again for your support of high school sports here on PressProsMagazine.com. We'll see you again next time with another edition of First Person.